Thanks for joining us. This is live with Miami's Community News, and our guest today is South Miami Commissioner Louis Gill. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Michael, for having me. It's always a pleasure.
And I want people to know that your daughter is sitting over to your right.
Audrey's here sitting in the audience, and she'll hopefully join us at the end of the show.
Audrey, thank you for being here. I saw you over at the the Christmas celebration a few weeks ago. Seems like a few weeks ago.
It does seem like a few weeks ago. Actually, it was about 10 days ago. We had a celebration right next to the Madison Square. There's a little green space there. They had the unveiling of the Christmas tree lighting. And right next to Phase 2, which is something I'd like to mention.
And it's really incredible. You've been in South Miami for a long time, and sometimes it takes years and years and decades to get stuff going. Then all of a sudden, all that pays off. So tell us about the first building and then the second building.
Yes, so the first building has already been completed. It has a dollar store that's been a very successful, like a little community gathering place. I shop there quite a bit and always run into people I know. And it's really energized a little thing, that whole street. The bicycle path has certainly added to it, and Phase 2 is coming online next year, in 2022. So we're really
that's right across the street.
That's right across the street, right adjacent to the Phase 1.
And it's matching buildings, right?
Matching buildings. It's just going to be an extension of Phase 1.
It's really incredible. The city, you put in the bike paths that have really passed. It's green and it has the concrete curb, and the roads are redone. It really is an incredible event when you drive over there and you go, look at what has happened. There's many administrations that get it. This happens to be the one that it got completed, and
it's an honor to be part of that. To after 40 plus years of haggling and roadblocks, we finally got it done, and that's great accomplishment for the city.
When I was a youngster, I remember we joke about our parents. We are the people our parents warned us about. Right?
That you become that Geico commercial.
Yes, and that was what was going on there. People could barely agree. And finally, you were able to get that through to build something there that was effective, that was modern, that would last a lifetime for most of us.
And it's helping the community. It does have a affordable housing component and a workforce housing component. So it's a mixture of people that are living there.
You brought up a point about when you shop there, you run into people you know. And that might become, if you will, the Cheers of today, or the Arbetters of today, where people can go there knowing that the probability of running into somebody that they know from South Miami is very, very high.
Yeah, and there's going to be a little more retail there. So hopefully we'll get a coffee shop or other places that people will frequent on their way home. And
Commissioner, just a few blocks north of there, the Related Group is putting up some new buildings, taking down the old, antiquated, unusable now townhouses that's been 50 years old approximately. And those are going to be torn down. All the people there are going to be moved to other apartments and be given an opportunity to move back there when they get done. Tell us about that project.
And that's we're really excited about that. Like you said, that is going to get new people that currently live there newer, more spatial accommodations. It's going to bring in some more affordable housing and some workforce housing. So it's going to bring a community of people together, and a mixed use, really close to this train station, which another project that's also in talks is the county is going to build on the corner there where that French fry statue was or is. And that's
corner of Sunset US 1.
Corner of Sunset US 1. And there's another project due for student housing there. So that included on the other side, with what you're talking about, the South Miami project, is really going to bring a lot of folks around on the west side.
Commissioner, I heard there was going to be some space in the building that's going to be available for some either public events or social issue events. I heard it's a pretty big space that was going to be.
In the related project, yeah, there's a big open. You mean the open public space?
Yes.
Yeah, and so they're dedicating a big open space I don't know what the intent of it is. I mean, it's going to be big, obviously public space, but whether it's going to be for community events, that's.
So what I'm seeing here, when we take into account the student housing that's now on top of the current Metro Rail building, which was a tremendous job, turned that garage from an old-looking garage to a modernistic building. And when you see people walking down the street, youngsters going to the University of Miami, it's incredible that after all these years is now becoming that this part of South Miami becoming a focal part where people have a sense of real community, a place to go. And we know the park at the Murray Park is there with the swimming pool,
Right.
and the
the whole area is going to transform into a true transportation hub where people actually live and and get to a place where they can walk to the train and to public transportation.
and I understand the city's moving forward on the concept of moving the police station. Tell us about that.
Yes, we have a space, we have a plan to build a police station. We need a funding mechanism. We're going to Tallahassee. We've been to and going to Tallahassee to ask for grants for the police station. We're going to Tallahassee asking for three things: police station money, pedestrian overpass, and a culvert for bridge we need in Manor Lane. There's a culvert that's failing there, and then we're asking for money.
So the police station, when you go to Tallahassee, you're going with some drawings.
Exactly. It's not like a pie in the sky. We have a plan, and this is what we want to do: a state-of-the-art, not only a police station, maybe a communication center, maybe an emergency, something that the entire county could use in case of an emergency. We're excited to bring that forward.
Some folks, when they think about the future, and they don't put it to paper or computer, if you will, then it doesn't look like they spent the time and energy to create that plan. People that wanted to get their marijuana license to grow, the state said, this is what you need. You need to lease or own the land. We need to see your lease that you have on that. We want to see the drawings. How are you going to do it? We want to see all your money. So if you get chosen, we're just going to stamp it, not like, if you do it, we will give you approval. So in this case, you're ready to rock.
Correct. We're bringing something tangible. We can show you something tangible, a plan for that site, for that piece of land that we own, that we control.
That's the old inspection station behind the South Miami Post Office.
Correct. So we're ready to go. It's just like I said, it's a funding situation.
More or less, what do you think the price tag could be on that?
Boy, it's if you get it LEED certified and all that, we're running 15 million, maybe 20.
In the totality of the life expectancy of that building and the impact that it will have, to have policemen there, to have the kids in the neighborhood right near the new developments, right? It's going to make a real social change to people that have never been around policemen before.
It does, Michael, and it impacts the entire area. It impacts the entire community. Something we can be proud of. I want to hopefully have a state-of-the-art place that can be a model for police stations everywhere.
I happened to find the Hometown 2 plan put together by Victor Dover in 1994. I came across it the other day. And I said, wow. And I looked at a picture of one of the pictures that was in there, and it was an 8-foot-high fence around the post office. So he drew it up, showing without that fence, it was there. And in the back of many of our minds, a fence like that is still there, whether it's on 62nd Avenue or just in our head or in Liberty City. And to think about that, in our lifetime, there's a fence to do what? To stop people from getting on the other side.
Right.
It was just really incredible. And with this construction that's going on, young people moving in, that fence in our hearts is going to just disappear. It won't be this invisible fence that is there. And so when the police station gets done and the new project gets started pretty soon, the next couple months, South Miami townhouses, when do they start tearing down?
I'm not sure of the timeline, but yeah, I would think it's soon. It's soon.
We look at that, the change is going to be significant. And that's right next to the city property, right across the street from the school, right next to the eye surgery place.
Correct.
Really visionary people that moved there 10 years ago said, we think this is the place. So as we look down the road to Progress and Commerce Lane, and God knows I take my cars over there and get those fixed. The city's been working on improving the zoning so that maybe the marketplace is going to decide to do something else with that. What will the zoning allow that to?
Well, so on MU6, we zoned Progress and Commerce, that area, the light industrial area, to an MU6. And an MU6 will allow you up to 12 stories. It has a affordable housing component. It has a very more lax parking requirements right next to the station. And we're hoping this spurs some accumulation of properties, so we can get some big time developers in there, some massing of properties. It hasn't happened yet. Everyone's waiting for the big money, and so but we are hopeful that projects like the police station and others will spur.
When the city moves to change the zoning there, that's the beginning of an invitation to people to do it. No different than when you go into the state, say, here's our plan, here's our idea. You said, hey, developer, who we don't even know who they are, right? Might say, okay, so this is what we can do. What do we need to do to get that? I see some huge investors buying land, and putting up more housing, which is desperately needed, throughout the county. And just as important is businesses that are close to parking, close to Metro Rail, which that whole area is that. And it's really incredible to see the kind of changes. So let's talk about some of the things that you think are going to be going on in the city during 2022.
Well, apart from the development, I mean, we do have the Winn-Dixie project that's ongoing and in the shoot. We've made improvements to Fuchs Park. I know you're familiar with Fuchs Park with the sign. I invite you to walk the trail. There's a new improved trail all the way around. We planted. We took out the invasive species and we planted new trees there. We're negotiating to take over the city garage, the one in downtown. It's leased to another entity. We want to take over the lease. We want to take over running the garage. I think there's possibilities there, especially on the rooftop, maybe to have some events or something.
Are you familiar with how much space is typically used during the day in that garage?
No, but I think there's a lot of opportunities for it, especially with the businesses. So I think it's underutilized, and I walked that space. It needs some sprucing up. I think we can certainly we can do it. Like I said, we're under negotiation. So
and downstairs, rather than the parking part, there are two big gyms that are in there now. At least two. They're like mammoth in size, right? And there's some other businesses that are in there as well.
Right, but we're not going to be doing that. We're not running that. We're only going to be doing the garage.
So that's like from the second store up.
Right.
Yes. And we see over at Donnie Fussell Park, there's some new art in the park over there.
Right. So we've added the Colombian to the Colombian Art Garden. Commissioner Liebman spearheaded that and done a great job. We have a monument. We're having a new monument sign there. City of South Miami, very similar to the one at Fuchs Park. So that's ongoing. And that park is going to have some improvements later on with the facilities.
To see when how the city is starting to care more, or they can externalize the caring, all right? And we looked at the street signs, the turnabouts over there. Note that don't drive through the neighborhood at certain times, and we see what seems to be a lot of people that are much happier than 5 years ago and 10 years ago. Before, there seemed to be a high level of naysayers all the time fighting, and I think the city has proved its point to where you can make things nicer. Right down the street from here, Marco Drugs is opening next couple of months. My hat's off to them with Sonia and Yvette for doing that. I saw all the windows are there. And they bought that a couple of years ago, and of course, COVID came in and sort of slowed things down. Would be an understatement.
And I know you had something to do with that, and you encouraged them to do it, and I'm so pleased you did. And it's going to be a very, very welcome addition to our city and to our community. It's right there, and it's a locally owned, family-owned business, and we couldn't be more pleased. And we're gonna have a little drive-through.
Yes, we're the welcoming wagon.
Thank you, and I'm very grateful for that, and very grateful for the kind words of how the city is running and how people are happy. Yes, we're one of the top communities people want to live in South Florida.
And I've seen the cities, typically the South Miami's been a little farther ahead as far as social issues of being green and aware. I think certainly started or promoted a lot by former Mayor Phil Stoddard. He was a biologist and he cared, and he's got battery operated and everything. He lives in this, lots of plants, and we saw that there's a house that was built in cooperation with the Miami Board of Realtors. It's on 62nd Avenue. It's an old storage shed. It's a shipping container, all right? And for years, people have been talking about tiny houses, all right? And so that was the big phenomenon. I know people that live up in the mountains, they just went and got one of those things. They said, that's just where we sleep, all right? We have our stuff outside, all right? And so that house is there. And I saw a neighbor behind us. He went and he doubled or tripled the size of his house with storage containers, right? And it was pretty amazing, right?
People are becoming so very creative with housing. There's lots of ideas out there how to increase housing and how to maximize space. It's just the 21st century way of people living, and it's just not here in South Florida. It's all over the United States and maybe the world.
And one of the things as far as community that most areas have a sense of community, not just a physical community, is a place where people can go and eat and drink. All right. So I understand that Publix is making application, correct me if I got it wrong, to go into a building that yet to be built.
Yet to be built, yet to be approved. I have not seen the letter of intent, but I understand there's a letter of intent from Publix. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, there is talk of a Publix.
When that happens, and people are there in the parking lot, all right, and they have their shopping carts and they're crossing each other, that's a real sense of community that this community, meaning the South Miami community, needs.
Yeah, and it's funny, Michael. Before there was, we were going to be a food desert. Now there's at least 3 supermarkets being proposed in South Miami. We have the Winn-Dixie, which is going to have a market. The Kimco project on 62nd Avenue has a component of for grocery stores, and now the Publix wants to come. So, wow, we're going to have lots of choices here in South Miami if all this comes to fruition.
So, this is a time of giving and of gratitude. And the other day at 6:30 in the morning, I was in line in my car to get a cup of coffee at a local place, and I let the guy who was on to my left get in the line first, all right, in front of me. And then when I get up to pay, they go, "That guy just paid for your coffee." And right then, I get goosebumps. This is a couple of days there, I get goosebumps. I look at the woman that was passing me this food, and she was not born in the United States. And here she's working her butt off. Imagine she's got 4 kids at home. And I had all these gifts in my seat, right over there, to give to kids. I looked at her. I looked at the gifts. I started handing it through the window. They were all individually packaged of clear stuff. I said, no more. She kept calling me Poppy. Thank you, Poppy. Thank you, Poppy. All right. What a great time to be able to do that.
Wow.
And it was because somebody else was gracious to me that I went, oh, this is the place that I'm supposed to do that with.
What a great message. What a great message for the end of the year. What
Yes.
a great message to pass along. We live in such trying times. People are same world, different lot.
Yes.
Every life is so different.
Yes.
Lives in a different world, and we have to appreciate that.
Yes, and I hope that you continue giving as you do, and not just to the things that we can see, but things that you do yourself anonymously, and that you just do them because it's a good feeling to be able to do that.
Yes, I one of the things I try to teach my daughter is to do the right thing even when someone's not watching.
Yep.
That is the thing to and you have to be an example. So
Yes.
she keeps me honest.
And we have 5 minutes left. You want to cover some more things?
Well, just briefly, starting next year, we're going to have weekly recycling in the city of South Miami. up from bi-weekly. We're going to try for weekly recycling. So we're really excited about increasing the service. And so I think that begins on Wednesday, a week from Wednesday. So everybody in South Miami can get those Amazon boxes into their recycling, and I don't want to see any recycling boxes in the big trash pile. They should be in the
And no
recycling bin.
no used pizza boxes.
And no use pizza. Please clean your recyclables. They do not have anything with food that has had contact with food. They won't accept. So please.
Yeah, and that's on a higher level of commitment to us and to our children and the community. Clean it up, do something good for all of us.
We have an opportunity. We've given, the city has given everyone every household an opportunity to clean up. Recycling is one of the basic things we can do. It doesn't cost any money. It's just a little bit of an effort, and it can go a long, long, long way to clean up the planet.
Right, and I think your daughter's ready.
Audrey, come. Want to say something? Come here, come. Take off your mask.
Audrey, hey, sweetheart.
Say right here. In the mic.
There we go.
Come on.
Happy New Year, South Miami.
Wow, Happy New Year, South Miami. Way to go, Audrey.
Happy New Year, everyone.
All right.
Thank you very much, Michael. It's always an honor to be here, and a pleasure. And thank you for all the good things you do, and all the great messages.
My pleasure. Louis Gills, City of South Miami Commissioner. Thank you, and God bless you, and have a great year.
Thank you.
Folks, thanks for joining us, and remember, take care of yourself and your family. So, Audrey.